Hello everybody, Jay Baker here with another vignette from Seattle, Washington. So Bayard Rustin has always been one of my heroes. He's often known as kind of the man behind the scenes for Dr. King and a lot of civil rights leaders. He was the one who taught Reverend Martin Luther King about the concept of nonviolence. He also organized the March on Washington where Dr. King gave his I Have the Dream speech. Quite a great guy. And so one of his quotes have really been sticking with me lately, and I wanted to share it with you. And it says, "Let us be enraged about injustice, but let us not be destroyed by it." And one of the things that's really stuck out with me about this quote is where he says, let us be enraged about injustice, like us as a community be enraged, but let us not be destroyed by it, saying let's not destroy each other by our rage of enraged about injustice, but we must not let us be destroyed by it. And it reminded me of the words of the Apostle Paul in the book of Galatians, where he says, for the whole law can be summed up in a single commandment: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. If, however, you bite and devour one another, take care that you are not consumed by one another. Still, this idea of love each other, but don't let the problems of today destroy others. Don't destroy each other. And I know that it's hard not to take such things nowadays, especially in the political realm, personally. Unfortunately, there's a lot of personalizing. There's a lot of people second-guessing one another, a lot of distrust, a lot of people questioning people who've been with them and stood with them in the past, and that's a tough thing. Another quote I was reading is by the monk Thomas Merton, that says, "When I criticize a system, they think I criticize them. And that is, of course, because they fully accept the system as identity in themselves. They identify themselves with it." And so remember is that, it also reminds me that we don't fight against flesh and blood, but it's spirits, and the supernatural kind of thing. And I think we have to remember that also when it comes to politics. And remember that we need each other. And the only force capable of turning an enemy into a friend would be love. And that comes from Dr. King, and that comes from nonviolence. And I just want to encourage us all to kind of keep this in mind. So we can be enraged, but let us not be destroyed by it. So let's not destroy each other. Let's not bite and devour one another, but we can be enraged and we can have tough conversations. And that's why I always say we need to learn how to argue well and disagree well and to love our enemies, is because by doing that doesn't mean we like what they believe. It doesn't mean we're not enraged by what they believe, but it means that we can communicate it and maybe even have a chance in changing it, helping people realize that maybe they've fallen victim to misinformation. But that only happens through conversation, not through angry yelling at one another, not through violence or anything like that. And I think we're in a time in this world where the system has us all divided. And you know what? We're bigger than that. We're bigger than the system. So stick with that. Lots of grace. See ya.